Listen to me. Success isn't for the lazy. It's not for the comfortable. It's not for the people who kind of want it. You got to want it bad. You got to want it like you need air. You got to want it like it's the only thing keeping you alive. Because when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll start winning. I remember a young man who wanted to be successful, and he went to a guru. He said, I want to be on your level. I want to make it. The guru took him to the beach, walked him out into the water. Suddenly, he pushed the young man's head under the water, held him there. The young man struggled, fought for air, kicked and panicked. And just before he passed out, the guru pulled him up. The young man gasped for air, coughing and furious. The guru said, when you were under the water, what did you want to do? The young man said, I wanted to breathe. The guru said, when you want success as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. See, most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it more than you want to party. You don't want it more than you want to sleep. You don't want it more than you want to hang out with your friends. You don't want it more than you want comfort. If you really want it, you'll sacrifice. You'll stay up late. You'll wake up early. You'll study when you're tired. You'll grind when no one's watching. You'll keep going when you fail, when you're broke, when people doubt you, when you're scared, because that's what it takes. Success is not about luck. It's about grind. It's about heart. It's about discipline. You've got to want it every single day. You've got to be obsessed. You've got to push when it hurts, keep going when it's hard, and never, ever give up. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Beasts don't complain. Beasts don't quit. Beasts hunt even when they're tired. And if you want to be great, you've got to hunt your dreams like your life depends on it, because it does. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember that story. Remember the feeling of wanting to breathe. That's how bad you've got to want your goals. That's how bad you've got to chase your purpose. That's how bad you've got to fight for your dream. Don't wait for opportunity, create it. Don't just wish, work. Don't just dream, do. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll become unstoppable. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to live that dream life, have that freedom, drive that car, take care of their family, wake up and do what they love. But not everybody wants to do what it takes. See, wanting success is easy. Talking about it is easy. Posting quotes, watching motivation videos, making vision boards. That's all easy. The hard part is living it every single day when nobody's watching, when you're tired, when you're broke, when you've failed 3 times already and nothing seems to be working. That's when you find out how bad you really want it. Because when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when everything changes. I remember when I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans, no money, no direction, no hope. People told me I wasn't going to make it. They said I was wasting my time, but I wanted it. I wanted it bad. I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to live. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to change my life. And I learned something. When you really want something, you stop making excuses and start making adjustments. You stop blaming the world and you start building yourself. You stop waiting for the right moment and you create it. You stop talking about your dreams and you start chasing them like your life depends on it. There's a story I always tell about the guru and the young man. This young man goes to a guru because he wants to be successful. He says, I want to be like you. I want to make money. I want to live that life. The guru says, okay, meet me tomorrow morning at the beach. The young man shows up the next morning wearing a suit and tie. He's ready to learn about business. The guru looks at him and says, walk out into the water. The young man hesitates but steps in. The guru says, keep going. The water's up to his knees, then his waist, then his chest. The young man's thinking, what does this have to do with success? Suddenly, the guru grabs him by the head and pushes him under the water. The young man is shocked, fighting to get up, struggling, kicking, panicking because he can't breathe. Just when he's about to pass out, the guru pulls him up. The young man gasps for air, furious, confused, shouting, why did you do that? The guru looks him dead in the eyes and says, when you were under the water, what did you want to do? He says, I wanted to breathe. The guru says, when you want to succeed as bad as you wanted to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. Most of you don't want it that bad. You say you want success, but you don't want it more than you want to party. You don't want it more than you want to sleep. You don't want it more than you want comfort. You want it when it's convenient, when it feels good, when it fits into your schedule. But success doesn't work like that. Success doesn't come to the person who wants it when it's easy. It comes to the person who wants it when it's painful. It comes to the person who's willing to sacrifice everything, sleep, comfort, ego, distraction to make it happen. If you want to be successful, you have to give up something. You might have to give up late nights. You might have to give up friends who don't support your goals. You might have to give up your favorite TV shows, your weekends, your excuses. Because greatness requires sacrifice. There's no shortcut to it. You've got to learn how to grind. You've got to learn how to wake up early, stay up late, work through pain, work through failure, work through doubt. Because if you don't, someone else will. Someone out there is grinding while you're sleeping. Someone is studying while you're watching Netflix. Someone is hustling while you're complaining. And when the results show up, you'll say, they got lucky. No, they didn't get lucky. They just wanted it more than you did. They were willing to bleed for it. They were willing to breathe for it. People ask me all the time, E.T., what's the secret? There is no secret. The secret is effort. The secret is hunger. The secret is not quitting when it gets hard. You've got to have that dog inside of you, that hunger that makes you keep going when your body says stop, when your mind says quit, when your circumstances say give up. That hunger that says, I'm not leaving without what I came for. That hunger that says, I'm not stopping until I win. Because that's what it takes to be great. You got to want it so bad that you refuse to be denied. You got to want it so bad that failure only makes you hungrier. You got to want it so bad that when people doubt you, you smile because you know their doubt is fuel. And let me tell you something about pain. Pain is temporary. It might last for a minute, an hour, a day, or even a year. But eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. If you quit, though, that pain lasts forever. So stop running from pain and start using it. Pain is a teacher. It shows you what you're made of. It builds strength. It builds resilience. You can't grow without struggle. You can't rise without pressure. Diamonds are made under pressure, not in comfort. So if life is testing you, if things are hard, if doors are closing, good. That means you're being shaped into something powerful. Don't cry about it. Grind through it. You say you want to be a beast. Everybody says that. I'm a beast. I'm a lion. But when it's time to do what beasts do, you shrink. Beasts don't complain about the hunt. Beasts don't make excuses. Beasts wake up hungry. They hunt, they chase, they grind. They don't stop because they're tired. They stop when they're done. You've got to have that same mentality. You can't let emotions control your grind. You can't let feelings dictate your discipline. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going because there will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be days when the alarm clock goes off and you want to stay in bed. There will be days when everything in you says stop, but that's the moment that defines you. That's when you decide whether you really want it or not. You've got to stop looking at other people's success and thinking it's luck. You see the glory, but you don't know the story. You don't see the nights they cried, the times they failed, the moments they almost gave up. Success looks glamorous on the outside, but on the inside it's blood, sweat, tears, and years of unseen effort. Every great person you admire paid the price. And if you're not willing to pay it, don't expect the same results. You can't have their success with your level of effort. You can't have championship results with practice level work. You can't expect a lion's life with a kitten's hustle. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you start thinking differently. You stop wasting time. You stop hanging around negativity. You start reading, learning, improving. You start guarding your energy, your time, your focus. You become obsessed with progress. Every day you wake up with one goal, to be better than you were yesterday. You stop competing with others and start competing with yourself. You start seeing challenges as opportunities. You stop saying I can't and start saying how can I? You stop waiting for motivation and start acting with discipline. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You might fall 10 times, get up 11. You might fail this year, start again next year. You might lose everything, build it back from scratch, because the only way you truly lose is if you quit. Winners are not the smartest, not the luckiest, not the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to stop, the ones who keep breathing, even when life tries to suffocate them, the ones who say, I can't quit now, I've come too far. You've got to have that relentless mindset, that by any means necessary attitude, that no matter what spirit, you've got to want your dream more than you want to breathe, because if you don't, life will knock it out of you. Distractions will steal it from you. Fear will talk you out of it. But if you do, if you want it bad enough, there's nothing on this earth that can stop you. No obstacle too big, no failure too final, no pain too deep. Because the human spirit is unstoppable when it's fueled by purpose. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you realize. The only thing standing between you and success is how bad you want it. So ask yourself right now, how bad do you want it? Do you want enough to lose sleep for it? Do you want it enough to grind while your friends are partying? Do you want it enough to keep going when nobody believes in you? Do you want it enough to breathe for it? Because when you do, when that hunger burns inside of you like air in your lungs, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable. You become everything you were meant to be. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants that moment when the world finally sees their name, their success, their victory. But the truth is, most people want the result without the sacrifice. You can't have one without the other. Greatness is not free. It's not on sale. It's not handed out because you're talented or because you wish for it. Greatness demands a price, and that price is sacrifice. If you're not willing to give something up, you're not ready to be great. The question isn't how bad you want success. It's what are you willing to give up for it? See, people look at champions, CEOs, legends, and they see the glory, the lights, the success, but they don't see what it cost them. They don't see the nights they cried themselves to sleep, the mornings they woke up at 4 a.m. when the world was still dark. They don't see the family, dinners they missed, the weekends they spent working, the friends they lost because they outgrew mediocrity. Sacrifice means giving up what you want now for what you want most. It's trading short-term comfort for long-term greatness. And that's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers talk about what they want. Doers give up everything that stands in the way of it. When I was coming up, I had to sacrifice everything. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to speak. I wanted to reach people, but I had nothing. I was homeless. I was broke, and I still had to decide what I was willing to let go of. I had to let go of excuses. I had to let go of comfort. I had to let go of people who didn't believe in me, because you can't take everybody with you when you're chasing greatness. Some people will hold you back because your effort reminds them of their laziness. You've got to be willing to walk alone. You've got to be willing to say no. No to distractions, no to drama, no to wasted time. Every no you say to comfort is a yes to success. I remember nights when I wanted to sleep, but I stayed up studying. Mornings when I wanted to quit, but I kept grinding because I knew if I don't sacrifice for my dream, I will spend the rest of my life sacrificing my dream. You have to decide what hurts more, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline hurts for a moment, regret lasts forever. Sacrifice is not punishment, it's preparation. Every time you sacrifice, you're building strength. You're proving to yourself that you're serious. And that's what separates those who say I wish from those who say I did. The world will test you to see how bad you really want it. You'll be tempted to quit, to take shortcuts, to settle. People will tell you, relax, you're working too hard, but they don't understand. You're chasing something they can't see. You're building something they can't imagine. You got to stay locked in even when they don't understand your grind. Because the truth is, you can't do what they do and expect to have what they have. You've got to give more, do more, be more. That's the price. You can't be average and expect excellence. You can't live in comfort and expect greatness. It doesn't work like that. You've got to give up some things. Maybe you've got to give up your comfort zone. Maybe you've got to give up sleep. Maybe you've got to give up friends who are always dragging you down. Maybe you've got to give up your favorite TV shows, video games, social media scrolling. Maybe you've got to give up your old habits, the laziness, the procrastination, the complaining. Because those habits are expensive. They cost you your potential. Every minute you spend doing something that doesn't grow you is a minute you're robbing from your dream. Sacrifice is about priorities. You can have excuses or you can have success, but you can't have both. People say they want success, but they don't want to sacrifice comfort. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Growth hurts. Sacrifice hurts. It means waking up earlier than you want to, working harder than you thought possible, and still not seeing results for months, sometimes years. But that's the process. That's how greatness is built. Every champion was once a beginner who refused to give up. Every master was once an amateur who kept practicing while others rested. Every success story is built on a mountain of sacrifices that nobody saw. There's a reason why most people quit when it gets hard. It's because they're not willing to pay the price. They want the trophy, but they don't want the training. They want the reward, but they don't want the responsibility. They want the applause, but they don't want the pain. But the universe doesn't work like that. You don't get to skip the line. You don't get to jump ahead because you deserve it. You have to earn it hour by hour, day by day, sacrifice by sacrifice. You've got to love the process more than the prize. You've got to be willing to sweat, struggle, cry, and still show up. Some of you are one decision away from changing your life, but that decision is uncomfortable. You keep running from discomfort, but that's where your power is. You've got to stop avoiding the things that challenge you. You've got to start embracing sacrifice as the tool that shapes your greatness. Every sacrifice is a seed. You plant it today, you water with effort, and one day it grows into success. But most people quit before it sprouts. They want instant results. They sacrifice for a week, maybe a month, and when they don't see progress, they give up. But greatness doesn't work on your timeline. It comes when you've proven that you're serious, when you've paid your dues. When you sacrifice, people will think you're crazy. They'll say, why are you working so hard? Why don't you take a break? They'll laugh at your discipline. But later, they'll ask how you did it. They'll want what you have, but they won't want to do what you did. That's why you can't live for their approval. You've got to live for your purpose. You've got to keep your vision so clear that their noise doesn't distract you. You've got to understand that success requires isolation sometimes. It's lonely at the top because few are willing to climb. Sacrifice builds character. It teaches you patience. It makes you appreciate every victory. When you sacrifice for something, you protect it differently. You value it because you earned it. That's why the people who inherit success often lose it. They never paid the price. But when you struggled for it, fought for it, bled for it, you don't let anyone take it away. Every late night, every early morning, every tear, it all becomes part of your story. And that story becomes your strength. Some of you need to make a decision tonight. You've been halfway in, halfway out. You've been saying you want it, but your actions don't match your words. You say you want to be great, but you keep choosing comfort. You say you want to build something, but you keep wasting time. You've got to stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I will. You've got to stop negotiating with your dream. The dream doesn't negotiate. It demands full commitment. You've got to be all in or not at all. You can't have one foot in greatness and one foot in mediocrity. It's all or nothing. You might have to sacrifice relationships, not because you don't love people, but because you love your purpose more. You might have to sacrifice the need to fit in. You might have to be misunderstood for a while. That's okay, because when you finally make it, the same people who doubted you will celebrate you, but they'll never understand what it cost you. And that's fine, because the satisfaction doesn't come from their applause. It comes from knowing you paid the price. You did what most wouldn't do so you could live how most never will. There will be days when sacrifice feels unbearable, days when you question if it's worth it. You'll wonder why life is so hard, why nothing comes easy. But that's when you remind yourself, this is the price of greatness. Every time you want to quit, remember why you started. Remember the pain of being average. Remember the hunger you felt when nobody believed in you. Use that pain as fuel. Use that hunger as fire. Keep pushing, because the reward is on the other side of sacrifice. You've got to give up now to go up later. You've got to let go of the good to reach the great. You've got to stop settling for easy when you were built for extraordinary. Every legend, every leader, every world changer sacrificed something they loved for something they believed in. Michael Jordan sacrificed rest. Serena Williams sacrificed comfort. Steve Jobs sacrificed approval. Martin Luther King Jr. sacrificed safety. Greatness always comes with a cost. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Sacrifice doesn't take something from you. It reveals who you are. It strips away the unnecessary, the distractions, the weakness. It exposes your core. And when you've given everything you have and you're still standing, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when greatness recognizes your name. Because the universe doesn't reward wishes. It rewards sacrifice. Listen to me. Pain is temporary. You've heard me say it before, but I need you to really feel it this time. Because right now, some of you are going through it. You're hurting. You're tired. You're frustrated. You feel like you've been putting in the work, giving your all, and the results still aren't showing up. You feel like quitting. You feel like maybe this isn't for you. But I came to tell you, don't you quit. Don't you stop. Don't you give up now. Because pain is temporary, but pride lasts forever. What you're going through right now is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. It's not punishment. It's preparation. When you're chasing something great, you're going to hurt. You're going to cry. You're going to sacrifice sleep. You're going to lose people. You're going to fail again and again. But that pain, it doesn't last forever. It's temporary. It might last for a minute, an hour, a day, maybe even a year. But eventually it will subside. Eventually it will pass. And when it does, something greater will take its place. Pride. The kind of pride that comes from knowing you didn't quit. You didn't run. You didn't let pain win. When I was homeless, I felt pain every single day. I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, trying to stay warm, trying to stay alive. There were nights when I questioned everything: God, life, purpose, myself. I felt forgotten. But even then, something inside me whispered, keep going. That voice told me this pain won't last forever. And it didn't. Because one day I decided to stop feeling sorry for myself and start fighting for myself. And when I look back now, I don't feel the pain anymore. I feel pride. I feel gratitude. Because that pain made me who I am. You've got to stop running from pain. Most people spend their whole lives avoiding it, dodging it, numbing it. They want comfort, not growth. But you can't have both. Growth lives on the other side of pain. Pain is the gatekeeper to greatness. You want to be strong? You got to lift heavy things. You want to be smart? You've got to struggle to learn. You want to succeed? You've got to fail first. There's no progress without discomfort. That's how the universe works. Pressure creates diamonds. Fire purifies gold. And pain shapes greatness. The problem is when most people feel pain, they stop. The moment it gets hard, they quit. The moment it burns, they back out. But that's exactly where the transformation happens. That's at the threshold. When you're working out and your muscles start burning, that's when you're growing. When you're studying and your brain feels tired, that's when you're learning. When you're grinding and everything in you wants to quit, that's when you're leveling up. The pain is proof that you're making progress. You've got to learn to embrace it, not escape it. You've got to look pain in the face and say, you can't beat me. You've got to tell yourself, I'm stronger than what's trying to break me. Because if you let pain win, you'll never know how powerful you really are. Every time you endure, every time you push through, you're building something inside that can't be bought or taught. It can only be earned through struggle. You're building resilience. You're building mental toughness. You're building pride. Think about it. Every great story has pain in it. Every hero bleeds before they rise. Michael Jordan didn't just become the greatest basketball player by accident. He was cut from his high school team. He cried. He hurt. But he didn't let that pain stop him. He let it drive him. Muhammad Ali said it best. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. That's it right there. Pain is temporary. Pride is forever. When you push through pain, you earn the right to be proud. You earn the right to hold your head high and say, I made it. You earn the right to walk into any room knowing you didn't fold when it got hard. That kind of pride, nobody can give it to you and nobody can take it away. It's the pride of a mother who worked 3 jobs to raise her kids. The pride of a student who stayed up all night studying just to graduate. The pride of an athlete who trained every day even when no one believed in them. That pride is priceless. It's the reward that pain gives you when you refuse to quit. Some of you are trying to skip the pain and still get the pride. It doesn't work like that. You can't get the reward without the struggle. You can't have the glory without the grind. You can't have the finish line without the race. You've got to earn it. And earning it means hurting sometimes. It means sweating. It means crying. It means doing things that scare you. But once you've done it, once you've fought through the pain, no one can take that victory away from you. Pain is part of the process. Stop looking at it like something bad. It's feedback. It's your body, your mind, your spirit stretching to a new level. When you're in pain, it means something inside of you is changing. You're shedding your old self. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger. And the reason it hurts is because growth always feels uncomfortable. You're leaving behind who you were to become who you're meant to be. You've got to remind yourself in those dark moments, this won't last forever. The storm doesn't last forever. The night doesn't last forever. The hurt doesn't last forever. You might be crying now, but one day you'll smile again. You might be struggling now, but one day you'll succeed. You might be tired now, but one day you'll look back and say, it was worth it. Every tear, every setback, every sleepless night, it was all worth it because it made me proud of who I became. I've met people who gave up right before their breakthrough. They were inches away from success, but the pain was too much. They couldn't see that if they had just held on a little longer, everything they dreamed of was on the other side. Don't let that be you. Don't let temporary pain steal permanent pride. The worst kind of pain is not the one you feel when you're working hard. It's the one you feel when you quit and have to live with regret. Regret is heavier than any pain you'll ever endure. It stays with you. It whispers in your ear at night. What if? Don't let that voice follow you for the rest of your life. When you choose to push through pain, you gain control. Pain doesn't control you anymore. You control it. You use it as fuel. Every setback becomes a setup. Every failure becomes feedback. Every wound becomes wisdom. That's what pride is. It's not arrogance. It's power. It's self-respect. It's the deep satisfaction of knowing you earned everything you have. Nobody handed it to you. Nobody did it for you. You did it. You endured. You kept going. I remember running in Detroit in the cold mornings before school. My lungs burned. My legs hurt. Every step was painful. I wanted to stop so many times. But I told myself, if you stop now, the pain lasts forever. If you keep going, it ends today. That's the difference between winners and losers. Losers stop when they're tired. Winners stop when they're done. Winners feel the same pain, but they use it differently. They see it as a signal to keep pushing, not a reason to stop. You've got to start seeing your pain as proof that you're alive, proof that you're growing, proof that you're fighting for something that matters. Because if it didn't matter, it wouldn't hurt. The fact that it hurts means it's valuable. The fact that it's hard means it's worth it. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish for the strength to endure a hard one, because an easy life produces weak people, but pain produces warriors. And when it's all over, when you cross that finish line, when you reach that goal, the pain will be gone, but the pride will stay. You'll look back and say, I made it through that. I survived that. I conquered that. And that feeling will fuel you for the rest of your life. Every challenge after that will seem smaller, every fear weaker, because you'll know you've already endured worse. You've already beaten pain once, and you can do it again. So when it hurts, when you're exhausted, when you feel like you can't take another step, keep going. Don't stop, because one day you're going to wake up and the pain will be gone. The fatigue will be gone. The struggle will be over. But what will stay is the pride. The pride of knowing you didn't fold, you didn't run, you didn't let temporary pain steal your destiny. You stayed the course. You finished the fight. You became who you were meant to be. And that pride, that's forever. Listen to me. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is good, but it's not enough. Motivation will get you started, but it won't keep you going. Motivation fades. It's emotional. It's temporary. It depends on how you feel. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't ask if you're tired, if you're bored, if it's raining outside. Discipline says, we're doing it anyway. That's what separates winners from everybody else. Everybody gets motivated for a moment, but only the discipline turn that moment into momentum. You ever wake up one morning and feel unstoppable? You're pumped up, inspired, ready to conquer the world. You make a plan. You start strong. You tell yourself this is the time you'll change your life. Then a few days later, the fire's gone. You don't feel it anymore. The excitement disappears. That's motivation. It comes and goes like the weather. But the people who make it, the people who actually win, they don't depend on that feeling. They don't wait to be motivated. They act no matter what. They've trained themselves to show up even when they don't want to. That's discipline. Discipline is when the alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. and you don't hit snooze. Discipline is when your friends are out partying and you're in the library, in the gym, or at work. Discipline is when you're tired, your body hurts, your mind says quit, but your heart says keep going. That's what greatness looks like. That's what success feels like. It's not glamorous. It's not fun all the time. It's routine. It's boring sometimes. It's repetitive. It's showing up again and again until your habits become stronger than your feelings. I remember when I started waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, people thought I was crazy. They said, E.T., why so early? Because I wanted to be great. I wanted to get ahead. I realized something. While everybody else was sleeping, I could be working. I could be studying. I could be creating. That's discipline. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when nobody's watching, even when it's inconvenient, even when it hurts. Motivation will get you to the gym once. Discipline will keep you there for a lifetime. Motivation will get you to start a business. Discipline will keep that business alive when the customers aren't coming in, when the bills are due, when you're tired and ready to give up. Motivation is like a spark. It lights you up for a second. Discipline is the fire. It keeps you burning when the world turns cold. I tell people all the time, you don't need to feel good to do good. You don't need to be inspired to move forward. You just need to make a decision. Because the truth is, your body and your mind will always find excuses. They'll tell you, you deserve a break. You've done enough. You can do it tomorrow. But discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline says, I made a promise and I'm keeping it. Discipline says, I said I was going to do it and I'm doing it. You've got to train yourself to move even when your feelings don't agree. Because feelings lie. They change every day. One day you feel confident. The next day you doubt yourself. One day you're full of energy. The next day you're drained. But discipline, it's not emotional. It's mechanical. You train it like a muscle. You build it through repetition, through structure, through habits. The more you practice discipline, the stronger it gets. And once it becomes a part of you, nobody can take it away. There were days I didn't want to speak, days I didn't want to write, days I didn't want to travel. I was exhausted. But I showed up anyway. I got on that stage. I gave 120% because that's who I am. That's what discipline does. It builds identity. You stop saying, I'm trying to be disciplined, and you start saying, I am disciplined. You stop saying, I'm trying to get up early, and you start saying, I'm an early riser. You stop saying, I'm trying to eat clean, and you start saying, I'm the kind of person who takes care of my body. Discipline changes who you are. See, the world doesn't reward the most motivated. It rewards the most consistent, the ones who grind day in and day out, no matter how they feel. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not disciplined, you'll lose to someone with half your ability and twice your work ethic. Because talent without discipline is wasted potential. It's like a car with no gas. It looks good, but it's not going anywhere. Discipline is the fuel that turns dreams into results. You've got to stop waiting for motivation to hit you. You've got to stop scrolling through videos trying to feel ready. You'll never always feel ready. The timing will never be perfect. The stars will never align. You just have to start. Stop messy, start scared, start tired, but start. And once you start, stay consistent. You don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving, because motion creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Every successful person you admire has mastered discipline. They didn't get there because they were lucky. They got there because they showed up when others didn't. They practiced when no one was watching. They sacrificed pleasure for purpose. They did what needed to be done when it was hard, not when it was easy. That's why when the spotlight hits, they shine. The world sees the performance, but not the practice. The world sees the success, but not the schedule. When Kobe Bryant was playing, he'd be in the gym at 4 a.m. before his teammates even woke up. When everyone else left practice, he stayed. That's discipline. He said, while they sleep, I work. That's why when the game was on the line, he was ready, because he'd already trained his mind and body to perform under pressure. Discipline creates confidence. Confidence doesn't come from hype. It comes from preparation. When you know you've done the work, you don't have to. Fake belief. You've earned it. You got to stop chasing motivation like it's magic. Motivation is overrated. Discipline is undefeated, because motivation will disappear when life hits you. Discipline keeps you moving when motivation dies. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it because I said I would. And that's power. That's freedom. That's control. When you're disciplined, you're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're in charge of your life. There are mornings when I don't want to get up. I'm human. I get tired too. But I made a decision years ago. My purpose is bigger than my feelings. My vision is stronger than my excuses. So even when I don't feel like it, I do it anyway, because I know the person who shows up every day, no matter how he feels, is unstoppable. You can't beat a person who's disciplined. You can't break someone who's already made up their mind that quitting isn't an option. And discipline doesn't just apply to work. It's a mindset for life. It's how you eat, how you speak, how you treat people, how you manage your time. It's about being intentional in everything you do. It's saying, I control my day. My day doesn't control me. You build structure. You build habits. You build systems that support your success. That way, even when motivation vanishes, your discipline keeps you on track. Some of you are losing not because you're weak, but because you're inconsistent. You work hard for a week, then take 2 off. You start strong, then stop when you don't see results. You keep starting over because you never stay consistent long enough to see success. Discipline is about consistency, not intensity. It's about showing up daily, even if it's just one small step forward, because those steps add up. You can't build a mansion overnight. You lay one brick at a time. There's going to be days when you feel invisible, days when nobody claps for you, days when the work feels pointless. But that's where discipline comes in. It's easy to work when everyone's cheering. It's hard when nobody's watching. But that's where character is built. That's where champions are made. You've got to learn to love the dark, because that's where the light inside you gets brighter. When you finally reach your goal, when you finally succeed, people will say, you're lucky. No, you're not lucky. You're disciplined. They'll never understand what it took, because they didn't see the mornings you woke up when you didn't want to. They didn't see the nights you stayed up grinding while everyone else was asleep. They didn't see the sacrifices, but you'll know. You'll know it was discipline that built your dream brick by brick. You can't depend on feelings to build your future. Feelings are fickle. Discipline is faithful. Motivation whispers. Discipline commands. Motivation gets you started. Discipline finishes the job. So stop asking for inspiration. Build discipline. Stop waiting to feel like it. Just do it. Show up tired, show up scared, show up unprepared if you have to. Just show up. Every time you show up, you strengthen the muscle. Every time you do it when you don't want to, you become stronger than your excuses. And one day it becomes who you are. It's no longer hard, it's habit. It's no longer forced, it's automatic. You wake up early, not because you have to, but because that's who you are. You grind not because someone told you to, but because you can't imagine not doing it. That's the power of discipline. It becomes your DNA. It becomes your lifestyle. And that's when you're dangerous, because nothing can stop a person who doesn't rely on motivation to move. So remember, discipline will take you where motivation can't. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Motivation fades with feelings, but discipline lasts with purpose. Motivation inspires you, but discipline transforms you. And once you master discipline, you'll realize you never needed motivation. You just needed commitment. When I say success requires obsession, I'm not talking about something casual. I'm not talking about something you do when it's convenient or when you feel like it. I'm talking about being consumed by your dream. I'm talking about waking up and thinking about it. Going to bed and thinking about it, eating, breathing, and living it every second of every day. Obsession isn't unhealthy when it's about purpose. Obsession is the fire that keeps you alive when everyone else burns out. Most people don't succeed because they only give half of themselves. They treat their goals like a side job. They say they want it, but their actions say otherwise. You can't be part-time in a full-time dream. You can't dip your toe in the water and expect to swim across the ocean. You have to dive in head first, knowing that success will demand everything from you: your time, your focus, your energy, your comfort. When you're obsessed, people are going to think you're crazy. They're going to ask why you work so hard, why you stay up so late, why you sacrifice so much. But that's because they don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. Obsession means seeing something in your mind so vividly that it's real to you before it exists. You see it so clearly that it drives you. You can't stop thinking about it. You can't rest until it happens. It's a burning vision that lives inside of you. It doesn't go away because it's not a wish. It's who you are. Every great person who ever achieved something legendary was obsessed. Michael Jordan was obsessed with winning. He'd study every movement, every weakness, every second of every game. Kobe Bryant was obsessed with the craft. He didn't just want to play basketball. He wanted to master every inch of it. He practiced before dawn and after practice was over. Steve Jobs was obsessed with innovation. He'd work day and night to perfect a single design. People called them intense, perfectionist, crazy, but that's what obsession looks like. That's the price of greatness. You can't be average and obsessed at the same time. Average people do what's required. Obsessed people do whatever it takes. Average people want the weekend. Obsessed people don't care what day it is. Average people talk about goals. Obsessed people live their goals. You've got to decide what side you're on. If you want to be great, you can't care about being liked. You can't care about fitting in. Obsession separates you from the crowd. It isolates you. It challenges you, but it also elevates you. The world rewards the ones who give everything, not the ones who give sometimes. When you're obsessed, you start to see the world differently. You stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for the right moment. You realize there is no perfect time. There's only right now. You start designing your life around your dream. You make time instead of finding it. You build habits that align with your vision. You protect your energy. You guard your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Your dream will die if you keep feeding distractions. Obsession means saying no to everything that doesn't serve your purpose. No to comfort, no to laziness, no to negativity, no to people who drain you. You've got to be so locked in that even your thoughts are disciplined. You can't fake obsession. You can fake effort. You can fake motivation, but you can't fake hunger. Obsession is raw. It's in your eyes. It's in your voice. It's in your movement. When you're obsessed, people can feel it before you speak. They can sense your intensity. They can sense that you're different. It's not arrogance. It's focus. It's commitment. You're not just chasing success. You're becoming it. You're transforming into the kind of person who refuses to settle for less than extraordinary. Most people fail because they're interested, not obsessed. They say, I want to be rich. I want to be fit. I want to be successful, but they don't want it bad enough to sacrifice for it. They don't want it bad enough to change their habits, to lose sleep, to lose friends, to risk embarrassment. You can't just want it. You've got to need it. You've got to crave it like oxygen. You've got to want it so bad that you can't imagine living without it. Obsession is when failure feels like suffocation. It's when you refuse to stop until you've reached your vision. I remember when I was grinding, sleeping in abandoned buildings, trying to figure out my next move. People said I was wasting my time. They said I should quit, but I couldn't quit because the dream had me. It owned me. I didn't have to chase it. It was chasing me. That's what obsession does. It becomes bigger than you. You stop doing it for money, for fame, for validation. You do it because you have to. You do it because it's your calling. And when your purpose becomes your obsession, no obstacle can stop you. Obsession makes you creative. It makes you resourceful. It makes you unstoppable. When you're obsessed, you don't wait for opportunity. You build it. You don't wait for support. You create it. You don't wait for permission. You take action. Obsession turns rejection into motivation. It turns pain into fuel. Every no becomes another reason to keep grinding. Every setback becomes another lesson. Obsession teaches you to love the process as much as the result. You start to fall in love with the grind, with the repetition, with the journey. You stop counting the days because you're too busy living the mission. And listen, obsession will cost you. It'll cost you comfort. It'll cost you relationships. It'll cost you sleep. But the reward is freedom. The reward is mastery. The reward is waking up every day knowing you're living your truth. You can't buy that feeling. You can't fake that fulfillment. The price is high, but so is the payoff. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Because success doesn't go on sale. You either give everything or you get nothing. When you're obsessed, you stop talking about balance. You start talking about alignment. Balance is for people who are comfortable. Alignment is for people who are focused. When your life is aligned with your purpose, it might not look balanced to others, but it makes sense to you because your energy, your time, your decisions, they all serve one goal. You start cutting out the unnecessary. You stop living for opinions. You stop chasing everything and start chasing the one thing that matters most. People might say, you're working too hard. Let them talk. They don't understand the fire inside of you. They don't understand what it feels like to have a dream that won't let you sleep. They don't understand what it means to carry vision in your heart that nobody else can see. Let them call you obsessed. Let them call you crazy. They said the same thing about every person who changed the world. If they're not calling you crazy, you're not dreaming big enough. You've got to keep your vision in front of you every single day. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what it costs to go back, because there will be days when the fire dims. There will be days when you question everything. That's when obsession saves you. It's not about motivation. It's about compulsion. It's about something in your spirit that refuses to die. You've got to feed that. You've got to protect that. Every time you push through doubt, that fire grows stronger. Obsession doesn't care how long it takes. It doesn't care how many times you fail. It doesn't care what the odds are. It only knows one direction: forward. When you're obsessed, you don't quit when you're tired. You quit when you're done. You don't measure your progress by how far you've come. You measure it by how much you still have left to give. You don't stop when it hurts. You stop when you've made history. That's the level you've got to reach if you want to be remembered. When you become obsessed with your dream, you start to attract things that match your energy. Opportunities come to you. People who share your vision appear. Doors open. Not because you're lucky, but because the universe recognizes commitment. It rewards obsession. It rewards people who refuse to give up. The world bends for the relentless. It always has. There's no secret formula. There's no shortcut. The real secret is obsession. The real secret is doing it again and again until the world can't ignore you. You've got to be so locked in that success becomes inevitable. You've got to work so hard that luck looks like strategy. You've got to be so obsessed that giving up isn't even in your vocabulary. When everyone else sleeps, you work. When everyone else doubts, you believe. When everyone else settles, you rise. That's what obsession does. It elevates you above average, above ordinary, above excuses. So stop wishing for it. Stop hoping for it. Start living for it. Get obsessed. Get tunnel vision. Get consumed by your mission. Let it drive you, scare you, challenge you, and grow you. Because obsession isn't madness. It's mastery. It's what turns dreamers into doers and believers into achievers. The ones who make history aren't the most talented. They're the most obsessed. And when you reach that level, when your desire becomes an unbreakable fire, success won't be a question. It'll be your destiny. ChatGPT said, failure is not the end of the road. Failure is part of the process. Every single person who ever made it, every champion, every leader, every success story, you know what they all have in common? They failed. Not once, not twice, over and over again. They fell, they stumbled, they got rejected, they got laughed at, they got told no, but they didn't stay down. That's the difference. You can't let failure define you. You've got to let it refine you. Most people see failure as a dead end, but the truth is it's a detour, a redirection. It's life saying, not this way, not yet, not like that. Failure isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. It's the process molding you into the kind of person capable of handling success when it finally comes. When you fail, you've got two choices. You can run from it or you can learn from it. Most people run. They let one bad outcome destroy their confidence. They take one no and start believing they're not good enough. But the ones who win, they take that no and turn it into fuel. They take that loss and make it a lesson. They look failure in the eye and say, you thought you stopped me, but you just trained me. Because every time you fail, you learn something that makes you stronger, wiser, more dangerous. Failure gives you information success never could. You've got to stop being afraid of failing. You got to stop playing safe just because you don't want to look bad. The fear of failure kills more dreams than failure ever could. Some of you don't even start because you're worried about what people will say if you lose. Listen, people are going to talk anyway. Let them. You can't let opinions keep you from greatness. Every master was once a disaster. Every professional was once an amateur. The difference is they had the courage to fail publicly, to fall, to embarrass themselves, to look foolish and still get back up. When I first started speaking, I wasn't the best. My voice cracked. My delivery wasn't sharp. I made mistakes, but I kept going. I kept working. I kept learning from every single failure. And that's how I grew. You can't get good without getting it wrong first. You can't evolve without errors. Failure is feedback. It's not telling you to quit. It's telling you to adjust. The problem is most people quit before they make the adjustment. They let one failure write their story instead of realizing it was just one chapter. You got to understand that failure builds character. It humbles you. It grounds you. It reminds you that success isn't owed, it's earned. It makes you appreciate the process. If you got everything you wanted the first time you tried, you wouldn't value it. You wouldn't respect it. You'd take it for granted. Failure makes you grateful. It makes you hungry. It reminds you that greatness is something you've got to work for, bleed for, and sometimes cry for. Every time you fail, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. You're starting with knowledge you didn't have before. You know what doesn't work. You know what to do differently next time. And that's power. The people who win aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop trying. They're the ones who keep getting up after every fall. Every time life knocks them down, they rise a little faster, a little stronger, a little smarter. That's how resilience is built. That's how champions are made. You've got to stop seeing failure as a punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Failure is training for the big win. It's the gym where your character gets built. Every loss, every rejection, every setback. It's like lifting weights. It hurts at first, but it's making you stronger. The pain you feel today is the strength you'll carry tomorrow. You've got to embrace it. You've got to learn to love the struggle. Because the struggle means you're growing. It means you're still in the fight. You ever notice how a seed breaks before it grows? It's buried in darkness. It cracks open. It falls apart. And that's how life begins. That's what failure does. It breaks you open so something new can grow inside. But most people never get there because they quit in the dark. They stop believing when things fall apart. But that's when you've got to keep pushing. That's when you've got to trust the process. Some of you are one failure away from your breakthrough, but you stopped too soon. You let one bad outcome convince you that your dream wasn't meant for you. You let the pain drown your purpose. You let the rejection close your heart. But hear me. Failure isn't the end. It's evidence you're trying. It's proof you're doing something that matters. Because if you're not failing, you're not growing. If everything you're doing is safe and comfortable, you're not living up to your potential. Growth happens outside the comfort zone. Progress lives in discomfort. Failure is how life checks your commitment. Everybody says they want to win, but failure asks, how bad do you really want it? Are you willing to start over? Are you willing to try again? Are you willing to look foolish one more time? Because if you are, you're already ahead of most people. Persistence always beats perfection. The road to success is covered in failure. The only difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't is that the successful kept walking. They didn't turn around when it got hard. When you fail, don't run from it. Analyze it. Sit with it. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What could I have done differently? How can I grow from this? That's how you turn pain into wisdom. Every failure is a mirror showing you what needs to change. Don't waste that reflection. Use it. Evolve. Become better because of it. You don't lose when you fail. You lose when you refuse to learn. You've got to remember, failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it close your heart, or you can let it open your mind. You can use it as an excuse, or you can use it as motivation. Every great comeback starts with a setback. Every victory starts with a loss. Every champion has scars. Those scars tell the story of survival, of resilience, of a fight that didn't end when it got hard. I want you to think about Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. 1,000 times. When a reporter asked him how it felt to fail so many times, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. That's mindset. That's how you turn failure into progress. He didn't see failure as a wall. He saw it as a staircase. Every mistake took him one step closer to success. Or think about Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. He could have quit. He could have believed he wasn't good enough. But instead, he used that pain as fuel. He worked harder than anyone else. He turned failure into fire. That's why he said, I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Failure didn't stop him. It trained him. You can't have faith and fear of failure at the same time. Either you trust the process or you don't. If you believe in your dream, then failure is just part of the journey. You've got to have the courage to fall, because that's the only way you learn to fly. Every stumble prepares you for the next step. Every time you fall, you're closer to balance. You can't reach mastery without mistakes. Sometimes failure isn't even failure. It's redirection. You thought you wanted one thing, but life showed you something better. You thought the door closing was a setback, but it was actually protection. You thought you lost, but you were being repositioned. Sometimes you don't realize until later that what felt like failure was actually the best thing that ever happened to you. That's why you can't quit too soon. You've got to keep moving forward, even when it hurts, even when it's unclear, even when it feels impossible. And when you fail, because you will. Don't hide it. Own it. Talk about it. Teach others from it. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs real people. People who've fallen and gotten up. People who failed and found faith again. Your scars can become someone else's survival guide. Your story can become someone else's strength. But only if you keep going. Only if you don't give up. Failure isn't final. It's just feedback. It's part of the blueprint for success. The ones who win aren't lucky. They're relentless. They don't see failure as rejection. They see it as redirection. They don't cry over the loss. They learn from it. They don't stop. They adjust. That's what you've got to do. Adjust, adapt, advance. Every time you fail, rise higher. Every time you fall, stand taller. Because the only real failure is quitting. Everything else is training. So when life knocks you down, don't ask why me. Ask, what is this teaching me? Don't say I failed. Say I'm learning, because that shift in mindset is the key. Once you stop fearing failure, you become unstoppable. You realize there's no such thing as losing, only learning. And once you believe that, failure stops being your enemy and becomes your weapon. You stop running from it and start using it. And that's when life changes. That's when you stop surviving and start succeeding. Because in the end, success isn't built on perfection. It's built on persistence. It's built on the courage to fail and the strength to rise again. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about motion. It's about direction. It's about doing what most people won't. Taking one more step, trying one more time, giving one more ounce of effort when you feel like you've got nothing left. The problem with most people is that they want to jump from 0 to 100% overnight. They want the results, but they don't want the process. They want the spotlight, but they don't want the grind. They want the trophy, but they don't want the training. But success doesn't work that way. You don't become great in a moment. You become great through moments, thousands of small, quiet moments when nobody's watching. That's what builds progress. You got to understand that greatness is not built in a day. It's built daily. Every single small decision counts. Every single rep, every page you read, every extra hour you put in after everyone else goes home. That's what adds up. That's what separates the good from the great. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Because showing up consistently beats. Showing off occasionally, you've got to fall in love with the process, even when it's boring, even when it's slow, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because while you're doubting, while you're frustrated, progress is happening underneath the surface. You ever seen a seed before it becomes a tree? You water it, you nurture it, you wait, and for weeks, nothing happens. You look at the soil, and it seems like a waste of time. But underneath the dirt, something is happening. The roots are spreading, growing strong, building a foundation. You can't see it, but it's there. That's what progress is like. You may not see results immediately, but that doesn't mean the work isn't working. The foundation is forming. And when the growth finally breaks the surface, it's because of everything that happened in the dark. The problem is, most people give up in the dark. They quit before they see results. They think, I've been working for months. Why am I not seeing change? But you've got to understand, success has a delay. There's a gap between effort and reward. You've got to trust that the grind will pay off. Every step forward counts, even the smallest one. Because progress isn't always visible, but it's always valuable. Perfection, on the other hand, is a trap. It's the lie that says don't start until everything is perfect. And because of that mindset, people never start. They keep waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right opportunity, and years pass by. Listen to me. There will never be a perfect time. The perfect moment is now. Start messy, start scared, start unprepared, but start, because motion creates momentum, and momentum creates mastery. The more you move, the more you grow. You don't need perfection to make progress. You need persistence. When you're chasing a goal, it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see instant results. You start questioning yourself. You start comparing yourself to others. You see someone else moving faster, achieving more, and you think, why not me? But you've got to stop comparing your day one to someone else's year 10. You're running your race, not theirs. Stay in your lane. Your progress might be slower, but it's still progress. A snail moving forward is still ahead of everyone standing still. There's a story about a man who wanted to chop down a huge tree. He went out every morning and gave it 5 swings with his axe. Just 5, not 50, not 500, just 5. Some days he didn't feel strong, but he still gave it 5 swings. Some days it rained, some days the axe felt dull, but he kept going. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. And one morning, with a single strike, that massive tree finally fell. But it wasn't that one strike that did it. It was all the swings before that. Every effort mattered. That's progress. Progress is quiet. It doesn't always roar. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's repetitive, tiring, thankless work. But that's where champions are made. When nobody's clapping, when nobody's cheering, when you're all alone, that's when your character is being built. The days you least want to do it are the days that matter the most. Because showing up when it's easy doesn't build strength. Showing up when it's hard does. You've got to redefine what success looks like. Success isn't one big win. It's a series of small victories. It's getting a little better each day. It's making progress even when no one notices. It's about stacking small wins until one day they become unstoppable momentum. The people who reach greatness aren't the ones who do extraordinary things once. They're the ones who do ordinary things consistently. That's the secret. Consistency beats intensity. Perfectionism will tell you if you can't do it right, don't do it at all. That's poison, because progress doesn't require you to be right. It requires you to keep going. The truth is, you will mess up, you will fail, you will make mistakes, but every mistake teaches you something. Every wrong move refines your strategy. Every setback strengthens your mindset. Progress means learning. Perfection means stopping when things go wrong. You can't afford to stop. You can't let a mistake become a reason to quit. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times. They stumble. They hit the floor. They cry, but they get back up. They don't say, I fell 3 times. Maybe walking isn't for me. No, they keep trying until they figure it out. That's how progress works. The people who succeed are just grown-ups who kept the same persistence they had as babies. They never stopped trying. Sometimes progress looks like failure. Sometimes you'll go backward before you go forward. You'll take 1 step up and fall 2 steps down. But that's okay. Because even when you fall, you're learning balance. Even when you lose, you're gaining experience. You're finding out what works and what doesn't. Every setback carries a seed of improvement. You've got to keep your eyes on that. If you look at an artist's sketchbook, you'll see hundreds of rough drafts before the masterpiece. If you listen to an athlete's story, you'll hear about years of losses before the championship. Nobody becomes excellent without enduring imperfection. Excellence isn't born, it's built. Built through failure, frustration, repetition, and small steps forward. You've got to stop chasing perfect conditions. Life will never be perfect, but you can still make progress every single day. Wake up earlier, study 1 more hour, practice 1 more time, say no to 1 more distraction. Every small action compounds. Just like compound interest in a bank, the effort you invest in yourself grows over time. You may not see it now, but years from today, you'll look back and realize that every small choice mattered. Don't underestimate what happens when you refuse to quit. You may not be where you want to be, but you're not where you were. That's growth. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone more disciplined. That's the beauty of progress. It transforms you, not just your situation. It shapes your mind, your habits, your character. You can't rush that kind of growth. You can only live it one day at a time. You might feel like you're moving too slowly, but slow progress is still progress. It's better than standing still. It's better than waiting for the perfect plan. Because the truth is, the only bad move is not moving. You can fix mistakes. You can't fix stagnation. The difference between dreamers and doers is action. Doers don't wait for motivation. They build momentum. And once momentum takes over, it becomes a force that's hard to stop. You've got to train your mind to celebrate small wins. Don't wait for the finish line to feel proud. Every rep, every page, every mile, every choice matters. You've got to reward effort, not just outcome, because the more you appreciate your own progress, the more motivated you become to keep going. Too many people only see how far they have left to go instead of seeing how far they've come. That mindset will steal your joy. Look back and see your growth. Even if it's small, it's real. You've also got to protect your progress. Don't let distractions steal it. Don't let comparison kill it. Stay focused. Some people will try to rush you. Some will doubt you. Some will mock your pace. Ignore them. The road to success is personal. The speed doesn't matter as long as you don't stop. You don't owe anyone your timeline. You owe yourself consistency. Progress demands patience. You've got to trust time. Just because it's not happening as fast as you want doesn't mean it's not happening. Growth takes time. Mountains aren't built overnight. The sun doesn't rise in seconds. Every great thing takes time to mature. You've got to stay faithful to your grind. Keep watering your dream. Keep nurturing your craft. Keep investing in your growth. And one day you'll wake up and realize you've become everything you were working toward. The world rewards results, but life rewards resilience. Progress is about refusing to quit even when results are slow. It's about believing that every small step counts, even when no one notices. It's about pushing through the days when you feel invisible, knowing that the effort you give today builds a foundation for the life you'll live tomorrow. So forget perfection. Forget waiting for everything to align. Progress is messy, raw, and unpredictable, but it's real. It's built on mistakes, fueled by consistency, and strengthened by faith. You've just got to keep going, keep growing, keep showing up, because if you stay consistent long enough, what once felt impossible will one day feel inevitable. And when that day comes, you'll realize it wasn't perfection that got you there. It was progress. The people you surround yourself with will determine how far you go. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're surrounded by small-minded, unmotivated, lazy people, you will start to shrink. Energy is contagious. Attitude is contagious. Hunger is contagious. If you spend your time around people who complain, you'll start complaining. If you hang out with people who make excuses, you'll start making excuses. But if you're around people who are hungry, who want more, who work hard, who are chasing something, their fire will light yours. You've got to protect your environment like your dream depends on it, because it does. You can't grow in toxic soil. You can't build your dreams surrounded by people who don't believe in dreams. Some of you are trying to fly while hanging around people who are committed to crawling. You can't take off when your circle is full of anchors. Sometimes the hardest part of growth isn't what you have to do. It's who you have to leave behind. You've got to learn to separate yourself from those who drain you. Not everyone will understand your grind, your mindset, or your vision. And that's okay. They don't have to. It's your vision, not theirs. But you've got to stop letting people with no ambition talk you out of your purpose. Stop letting people who gave up on their dreams convince you to give up on yours. Misery loves company, but so does greatness. You've got to decide which kind of company you want to keep. Because if you hang out with people who normalize quitting, you'll start believing quitting is okay. If you hang out with people who normalize mediocrity, you'll start thinking mediocrity is success. But if you hang out with winners, they'll challenge you to level up. They'll hold you accountable. They'll make you uncomfortable. And that's how you grow. You ever notice that when you get serious about your goals, people start calling you different? They'll say, you've changed. And you know what? They're right. You're supposed to. You can't reach new levels with your old mindset. You can't achieve new goals with old habits. You can't move forward while holding on to people who only want to live in the past. So when people say you've changed, take it as a compliment. It means you're evolving. It means you're growing. It means you've decided to stop being average. When you're around people who are hungry, you feel it. They're up early. They're grinding late. They talk about ideas, not gossip. They're focused on solutions, not problems. They push you not out of jealousy, but out of belief. They remind you who you are when you forget. They see potential in you that you can't even see in yourself. That's the kind of circle you need. If your friends aren't inspiring you, challenging you, or holding you accountable, you don't have a circle. You've got a cage. You've got to start auditing your circle like your life depends on it. Because it does. Ask yourself, who do I talk to the most? Who do I spend time with? Are they lifting me up or weighing me down? Do they believe in my dream or mock it? Do they encourage me to work harder or tempt me to? Slack off. Because whether you realize it or not, you become like the people you're around. If you hang with 5 broke people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang with 5 negative people, you'll be the 6th. But if you hang with 5 focused, hungry, driven people, you'll become the 6th. Energy is everything. You can't let negative people drain your battery. Every time you spend hours around people who gossip, complain, or talk about how life's unfair, you're wasting mental energy that could be spent building your dream. That kind of negativity seeps into your mind slowly. One day you're inspired, and the next day you're doubting yourself, and you don't even know why. But it's because you've been feeding off low energy conversations. That's why you got to be selective. Protect your peace, protect your energy, protect your dream. Sometimes it's not even about cutting people off. It's about changing your proximity. You can love people from a distance. You can care for them without letting them influence you. You can wish them well without letting them distract you. Because if someone isn't adding to your vision, they're subtracting from it. And you can't afford to carry dead weight when you're climbing. You've also got to seek out mentors. Find people who are where you want to be. Learn from them. Ask questions. Observe how they move. Don't envy their success. Study. Success leaves clues. The great ones didn't just get lucky. They built habits. They developed discipline. They surrounded themselves with the right energy. You can learn from that. You don't need to copy anyone, but you can learn how they think. Because the difference between average and exceptional is mindset. And mindset is contagious when you're around the right people. Don't be afraid to outgrow people. It's part of the journey. You're not better than them, but you're built for something different. Some people are meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. You can love them. You can be grateful for them, but you can't let them stop you from growing. Sometimes elevation requires separation. You've got to let go of what's holding you down so you can rise to what's meant for you. If you ever feel alone on your journey, that's okay. Growth can be lonely, but loneliness is better than being surrounded by people who don't want you to grow. It's better to walk alone in the right direction than to follow the crowd off a cliff. You don't need a big circle. You need a strong one. 2 or 3 people who share your vision, your hunger, your fire. That's enough. Quality over quantity. You've got to learn to recognize energy. Some people come into your life and everything gets lighter. Your spirit lifts, your focus sharpens, your motivation grows. Others walk in and everything feels heavy. Pay attention to that. Your energy doesn't lie. Trust it. Because your environment can either feed your growth or choke it. If you want to go far, surround yourself with people who are better than you. People who intimidate you a little. People who force you to level up. If you're always the smartest or most motivated person in your group, you're in the wrong group. You should be around people who make you think bigger, who challenge your excuses, who show you what's possible. You can't get to the next level with the same conversations. Sometimes one conversation with the right person can do more for your life than a year of comfort with the wrong ones. And it's not just about finding the right people. You've got to be the right person too. Don't just look for energy. Bring energy. Be the friend who inspires others. Be the one who works hard, who keeps promises, who uplifts. Be the one others can look at and say, because of them, I didn't quit. The more value you add, the more valuable your circle becomes. Remember this, iron sharpens iron. But if you're hanging out with wood, you're going to dull your edge. Surround yourself with people who sharpen you, who make you sharper emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Because success is a team sport. No one wins alone. Every champion has a circle. Every great person has someone pushing, guiding, or believing in them. You've got to build that for yourself. If you want to be a lion, stop hanging with sheep. If you want to fly, stop walking with chickens. If you want to lead, stop following followers. It's simple, but it's real. You attract what you are. So if you want to be surrounded by hungry people, stay hungry yourself. If you want to attract ambitious people, stay ambitious. If you want to build a winning team, start by being a winner. The truth is, the right people will never be intimidated by your success. They'll be inspired by it. The wrong people will see your growth as competition. The right people will see it as motivation. The wrong crowd will tell you to slow down. The right crowd will tell you to keep going. The wrong people will make you doubt yourself. The right ones will remind you why you started. Choose wisely. Your environment can either destroy your dream or develop it. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you spend your time with people who don't believe in you, that idea will die. But if you get around people who speak life into you, who hold you accountable, who push you to grow, your dream will thrive. That's how you build momentum. That's how you stay consistent. That's how you go from wishing to winning. So take a good look at your circle. Who's really with you? Who's challenging you? Who's helping you grow? Who's clapping for you when you win? And who's silent when you succeed? These are questions that matter, because at the end of the day, success isn't just about your skill. It's about your surroundings. The right people will bring out the best in you. The wrong ones will drain it out of you. If you want to live a life of purpose, align yourself with purpose-driven people. If you want to achieve greatness, surround yourself with greatness. And if you can't find people like that yet, become that person yourself. Be so focused, so passionate, so driven that the right people are drawn to your energy. Because when hunger meets hunger, when fire meets fire, nothing can stop the blaze that follows.